Have you ever felt like life has left you behind? Like no matter how hard you try, the version of yourself you dream of seems just out of reach. Maybe you've faced failure, heartbreak, or disappointment, and it feels easier to accept the life you have than to fight for the life you want. But what if I told you that right now, at this very moment, you have the power to begin again? To tear down the walls that have held you back and rebuild yourself from the ground up. Not by waiting for luck, not by blaming circumstances, but by taking deliberate, focused action. Every habit, every choice, every thought you cultivate becomes the foundation of the person you are becoming. Imagine the freedom of stepping into your own life with purpose, resilience, and clarity, a life where setbacks are lessons, discomfort is a sign of growth, and every day moves you closer to the version of yourself you were meant to be. Rebuilding is not easy. It will demand courage, patience, and persistence. But it is possible. And it starts with a decision that you are not defined by your past, your mistakes, or your fears, but by what you choose to do today, right now, to create a stronger, wiser, unstoppable you. Self-awareness is the cornerstone of any meaningful transformation. To rebuild yourself, you must first know exactly what it is you are rebuilding from. Life often pushes us forward without giving us the time to stop, look in the mirror, and understand ourselves. But the truth is, if you don't take this pause, if you don't step back and see clearly who you are, your efforts to change may scatter in many directions, lacking focus and purpose. Self-awareness is about understanding not just your actions, but the intentions behind them. Not just your achievements, but also the patterns that have held you back. It requires honesty, a willingness to see yourself without disguise, without excuses, without hiding behind the masks you wear for comfort or for approval. Most people live their lives reacting to circumstances or trying to fit into expectations set by others, and in doing so, they lose touch with the core of who they are. Rebuilding yourself cannot happen in this reactive state. You must first become a careful observer of your own life. Take the time to reflect on your decisions, your relationships, and your habits. Ask yourself why you do what you do, what drives your choices, and what fears or beliefs have been quietly shaping your path. Self-awareness is not just about knowing what is good about you. It is equally about confronting the parts you might be avoiding, the limitations, the weaknesses, the areas where growth is overdue. This confrontation can be uncomfortable because it requires admitting that some of your behaviors or choices have not served you well. It asks that you stop blaming circumstances, other people, or luck for where you are now. Instead, it places responsibility squarely in your own hands. But this is liberating because once you know clearly where you are, you can chart the path to where you want to be. When you are self-aware, you gain clarity on your values and priorities. You begin to recognize what truly matters to you, what aligns with your inner purpose, and what is merely noise or distraction. Without this clarity, rebuilding yourself is like trying to build a house without a blueprint. You might construct something, but it may be unstable or misaligned with your vision of success. Self-awareness also allows you to identify your patterns, the habits, both conscious and unconscious, that guide your life. You may notice times when you procrastinate, react emotionally, or avoid challenges. You may see tendencies to self-sabotage or stay within comfort zones that no longer serve you. By recognizing these patterns, you equip yourself with the insight to change them. Understanding your strengths is equally important. Many people underestimate the power of acknowledging what they are naturally good at or what skills they have developed over time. Recognizing your strengths allows you to leverage them as you rebuild yourself. It creates a foundation of confidence that empowers you to tackle the areas that need improvement. Self-awareness is not a one-time exercise, it is a lifelong practice. Journaling, reflection, meditation, seeking feedback from trusted peers, and simply pausing in moments of stress or decision-making can all deepen your understanding of yourself. The more accurately you know yourself, the more precise and effective your rebuilding efforts become. And perhaps the most profound aspect of self-awareness is that it opens the door to conscious choice. When you are aware, you no longer drift through life passively. You begin to make decisions aligned with your values, your vision, and your goals. You start to act with intention rather than reaction. You gain control over your life, and with control comes the power to rebuild. Without self-awareness, efforts to change may be scattered, inconsistent, and ultimately frustrating. You might adopt habits that seem productive but aren't aligned with your true purpose. You might pursue goals that look impressive but leave you feeling unfulfilled. Self-awareness gives direction, grounding, and a clear understanding of what your version of success truly is. In essence, Rebuilding yourself begins with the courageous act of looking within. It requires that you peel back the layers of distraction, denial, and societal conditioning to see the authentic self beneath. This is the most honest conversation you can have, and from this understanding comes clarity, focus, and the energy to take deliberate, purposeful action. Without this foundation, any effort to change is like building on sand. With it, you have a solid base from which to rise, to grow, and to transform your life into something intentionally extraordinary. Taking responsibility for your life is one of the most powerful, yet often overlooked, steps in the journey to rebuild yourself. Many people spend their days blaming circumstances, other people, or sheer luck for the outcomes in their lives, and in doing so, they give away their power. They allow themselves to remain stuck in a cycle of excuses, waiting for someone or something else to change before they can move forward. The truth is, no one is coming to fix your life for you. No one will hand you the solution or push you toward your potential. The moment you accept full responsibility for your thoughts, actions, and results is the moment you reclaim your power. Taking responsibility does not mean blaming yourself for everything that has gone wrong in your life or living with unnecessary guilt. It simply means acknowledging that your choices and the decisions you make from this point forward are what will shape your future. Your past may have been difficult, unfair, or unpredictable, but it does not define your destiny. The power to rebuild comes from recognizing that your future is determined not by what happened to you, but by what you choose to do now. When you take responsibility, you stop waiting for external validation, approval, or permission. You no longer rely on luck, circumstance, or the goodwill of others to dictate your progress. Instead, you focus on what is within your control: your effort, your mindset, your habits, and your persistence. You accept that while you cannot control every situation, you can control your reaction to it. Life will always present challenges, setbacks, and disappointments, but responsibility is the lens through which you view these obstacles as opportunities rather than threats. When you take ownership, failure is no longer a source of shame, but a source of learning. You stop asking, "Why me?" and start asking, "What can I do differently?" Each mistake becomes a lesson, each setback a stepping stone toward growth. Responsibility requires courage because it forces you to face uncomfortable truths about yourself. It demands that you look honestly at your choices and acknowledge where you have fallen short, where you have compromised your values, or where you have avoided difficult decisions. This honesty can sting at first, but it is necessary. Without it, rebuilding yourself will be shallow, superficial, or temporary. When you embrace responsibility, you also take control of your vision and goals. You realize that no one else can decide what success, happiness, or fulfillment looks like for you. You are free to define your own standards, your own benchmarks, and your own path. You start to measure progress by your efforts and your alignment with your values, rather than by comparison to others or by external approval. Responsibility also strengthens your resilience. Life will always throw curveballs, but when you accept responsibility, you stop being a passive victim of circumstance and become an active problem solver. You focus on solutions rather than complaints, action rather than hesitation. You cultivate a mindset that thrives in adversity because you know that your destiny is in your hands. Taking responsibility is closely tied to self-discipline. When you accept that you are accountable for your results, you naturally become more intentional with your actions. You pay attention to the choices that influence your health, your relationships, your career, and your personal growth. You recognize that each small decision compounds over time, and you begin to make choices that serve your long-term vision rather than immediate comfort or convenience. This principle also transforms the way you relate to others. You stop blaming others for your setbacks and begin to see collaboration, mentorship, and teamwork as opportunities rather than obligations. You approach relationships with integrity and reliability because you understand that your actions and words have impact, and you are committed to being someone who contributes rather than complains. Ultimately, taking responsibility for your life is the foundation of empowerment. It shifts your mindset from being reactive to being proactive. It allows you to stop waiting for the world to change and start changing yourself. It reminds you that while you cannot control every circumstance, you can always control the direction you choose to move in. By owning your life fully, you create a sense of freedom, strength, and purpose that cannot be taken away by external forces. It is in this place of accountability that the true work of rebuilding yourself begins, because only when you accept that the power to shape your life rests entirely in your hands can you begin to build a future that is intentional, meaningful, and extraordinary. Embracing change and discomfort is one of the most critical yet challenging steps in the process of rebuilding yourself. Human nature naturally resists uncertainty and the unfamiliar. We are wired to seek comfort, routine, and predictability, but true growth never happens within those confines. The life you have now, the habits you cling to, and the comfort zones you inhabit are familiar, yes, but they are also limiting. They may have served you in the past, but if your goal is to rebuild yourself into a stronger, wiser, and more capable version of who you are, you must step into the unknown. Change is rarely convenient. It often demands that you let go of old habits, outdated beliefs, and patterns of thinking that no longer serve you. It asks you to challenge the way you see the world, the assumptions you hold about yourself, and the stories you have been telling yourself about what is possible. The moment you decide to embrace change, you also accept discomfort as a necessary companion on the journey. Discomfort is not a sign that you are failing. It is a sign that you are stretching beyond the boundaries of your current self. When you encounter the unease that comes with learning a new skill, taking on a bigger responsibility, or changing a deeply ingrained habit, recognize it as evidence that growth is occurring. Every successful person, every individual who has reinvented themselves, has had to face this truth. If it does not challenge you, it will not change you. Embracing change requires shifting your mindset. You must begin to see uncertainty not as a threat, but as an opportunity for discovery and development. Life is not static, and neither should you be. Circumstances evolve, industries transform, relationships shift, and personal challenges arise without warning. The ability to adapt and to move confidently into new territory is what separates those who remain stagnant from those who rebuild themselves into something extraordinary. This is not a matter of luck. It is a deliberate choice to meet life's unpredictability with courage and curiosity. Discomfort is a teacher, and often its lessons are the most valuable. When you feel fear, hesitation, or frustration, you are being pushed out of your old self. These feelings signal that you are attempting something meaningful, something that has the potential to redefine your capabilities. Rather than avoiding these sensations, lean into them. Observe them, understand them, and let them guide your actions. Each moment of discomfort is an opportunity to strengthen your resilience and expand your capacity for future challenges. Embracing change also involves shedding attachment to outcomes that no longer serve you. Many people resist growth because they are afraid of losing the familiar, the job, the relationship, or even the identity they have carefully built over time. But clinging to what is comfortable often comes at the expense of your potential. Letting go does not mean failure. It means you are making space for something better, for something aligned with your vision of the future. The process of rebuilding yourself is inherently disruptive. It is messy, it is uncomfortable, and it often requires patience when progress seems slow. There will be moments when you question your decisions, doubt your abilities, and long for the safety of the old ways. These moments are natural, and they are part of the transformation. What matters is that you do not allow them to derail your progress. Instead, use them as reminders that discomfort is the signpost of growth and that every step into the unfamiliar brings you closer to the person you are meant to become. One of the most profound aspects of embracing change is the liberation it brings. Once you become comfortable with discomfort, once you learn to see change as a friend rather than a threat, you gain freedom from fear. You begin to approach life with curiosity and confidence, knowing that you have the inner strength to navigate uncertainty. This mindset allows you to take bold actions, pursue opportunities that once seemed impossible, and rebuild yourself in ways you may never have imagined. Change and discomfort are inseparable companions on the journey to self-reinvention. Each challenge you face, each new path you explore, is an opportunity to expand your capabilities, deepen your understanding, and move closer to the life you desire. By welcoming change and leaning into discomfort, you cultivate resilience, courage, and a proactive approach to life. You stop waiting for perfect conditions or easy paths and begin to create your own opportunities. You recognize that the true measure of growth is not comfort, but the willingness to keep moving forward, even when the road is difficult and the outcome uncertain. In embracing change and discomfort, you find the gateway to transformation, the place where your old limitations give way to a stronger, more capable, and more intentio. Continuous learning and skill development are essential pillars of rebuilding yourself. Life is constantly evolving, and the world around us never stands still. The skills that once served us well may no longer be enough to navigate new challenges, opportunities, or ambitions. To rebuild yourself effectively, you must commit to becoming a lifelong student of life. This does not only mean formal education, it is about cultivating curiosity, expanding your understanding, and developing the capabilities that empower you to create the life you desire. Every day offers a chance to learn, to absorb, and to grow. Whether through books, experiences, conversations, or reflection, each moment presents an opportunity to gain insights that can transform the way you think, act, and interact with the world. Continuous learning is not about becoming perfect, nor is it about comparing yourself to others. It is about consistent progress, about sharpening your tools, so that when life presents challenges, you are prepared to handle them with confidence and skill. Skill development is the practical application of learning. Knowledge alone is not enough. You must take what you learn and turn it into action, turning theory into results. This may involve building professional expertise, mastering emotional intelligence, improving communication, or refining any aspect of your life that contributes to growth. When you develop new skills, you open doors that were previously closed. You expand the range of possibilities and create opportunities to take on responsibilities, pursue passions, and achieve goals that once seemed out of reach. The process of learning and developing skills also strengthens your mindset. It cultivates humility, patience, and persistence because mastery is rarely immediate. There will be moments of struggle, mistakes, and setbacks, and it is through these experiences that true competence and confidence are built. Commitment to continuous growth keeps you adaptable. In a world where industries, technologies, and social landscapes shift rapidly, the ability to learn and acquire new skills ensures that you remain relevant and capable. Stagnation is the enemy of progress, and those who refuse to learn risk being left behind. Embracing lifelong learning requires self-discipline and intentionality. It is not enough to hope that growth will happen naturally. You must actively seek it. Set aside time for reading, attending workshops, practicing new skills, and reflecting on what you learn. Treat learning as an investment in yourself, understanding that the returns are not immediate but compound over time, enhancing your ability to succeed in the future. The mindset of a learner also fosters creativity and problem solving. When you commit to growth, you are open to new ideas, perspectives, and strategies. You are less likely to feel limited by past failures or current circumstances because you recognize that knowledge and skill can always expand. This mindset transforms challenges into opportunities, as every obstacle becomes a chance to apply what you have learned and to develop new capabilities. Continuous learning also strengthens confidence. The more you know and the more you can do, the less fear you have of the unknown. You approach life with a sense of preparation, understanding that even if circumstances are difficult, you have the tools and knowledge to navigate them effectively. This confidence is not arrogance, it is grounded in competence, effort, and a willingness to keep improving. Rebuilding yourself is a journey, and continuous learning ensures that the journey moves forward rather than stagnates. Each new skill, each piece of knowledge, each insight gained builds momentum, creating a cumulative effect that reshapes your potential. It allows you to reinvent yourself in ways that align with your goals, values, and vision for the future. Importantly, learning is also about self-discovery. As you expose yourself to new ideas and experiences, you gain insight into your own strengths, weaknesses, and passions. You understand not only what you are capable of, but also what truly motivates you, what excites you, and what aligns with your authentic self. This awareness is crucial when you are rebuilding, because it ensures that the life you create is not a reflection of someone else's expectations, but of your own intentional choices. In essence, continuous learning and skill development are the engines of transformation. They provide the knowledge, competence, and confidence to navigate life deliberately rather than passively. They make you adaptable in the face of change, resilient in the face of setbacks, and proactive in the pursuit of your goals. By committing to learning and growth, you invest in yourself, expand your possibilities, and lay a foundation upon which you can rebuild a stronger, wiser, and more capable version of yourself. Positive habits are the building blocks of personal transformation. While motivation can ignite change, it is consistent habits that sustain it. Rebuilding yourself is not about occasional bursts of effort or inspiration. It is about the small, deliberate actions you take every day that accumulate over time to create significant results. Habits shape your identity because they reflect your priorities and your values in action. Every time you choose a productive action, no matter how small, you reinforce the version of yourself that you want to become. Conversely, ignoring the power of habits leaves you at the mercy of impulses, distractions, and circumstances. Life will inevitably test your discipline, and without positive habits, you risk being pulled away from your goals by convenience or short-term short-term comfort. Positive habits act like a framework for growth. They provide structure to your days and consistency to your efforts, ensuring that progress is not random but intentional. Habits such as dedicating time to learning, maintaining physical health, practicing gratitude, and managing your time effectively are not glamorous, but they are the foundation upon which extraordinary results are built. When you develop these routines, they create momentum, making it easier to continue improving even when motivation wanes. The power of habits lies in their compounding effect. Just as interest grows over time in a bank account, the small actions you repeat consistently grow in impact. Reading a few pages each day may seem insignificant, but over months and years it transforms your knowledge, perspective, and capability. Exercising for a short time every day may seem trivial, but over time it strengthens your body, your endurance, and your discipline. Saving small amounts of money consistently builds financial security and independence. Positive habits are not only about achieving external results, they also shape your mindset. The more consistently you engage in constructive routines, the more disciplined, confident, and resilient you become. Habits train your brain to expect growth, action, and progress, reducing the internal resistance that often sabotages transformation. They make good choices automatic, so that even on days when energy is low or challenges are high, you continue to move forward. Rebuilding yourself also requires replacing negative habits with positive ones. Often, we are held back not just by what we fail to do, but by what we do consistently that drains us or undermines our goals. Habits such as procrastination, excessive self-criticism, negative self-talk, or poor time management quietly erode your potential. To rebuild effectively, you must identify these patterns and consciously replace them with behaviors that serve your growth. This process is gradual, requiring patience and persistence, because habits are deeply ingrained. Awareness, repetition, and intentionality are key. You may stumble, you may revert to old patterns, but each time you return to the new habit, you reinforce it and make it stronger. Environment also plays a critical role in habit formation. Surrounding yourself with people, spaces, and resources that support positive behavior makes it easier to stay consistent. Conversely, environments that encourage distraction, negativity, or stagnation make transformation harder. Rebuilding yourself may require you to curate your surroundings intentionally, choosing influences that align with your goals rather than those that distract or diminish you. Habits also allow you to manage your energy and focus strategically. Life is full of demands, and without structured routines, you may drift through your days reacting to urgent matters rather than taking deliberate steps toward your vision. Positive habits give you a sense of control over your time, focus, and energy, allowing you to invest consistently in what truly matters. Importantly, habits shape your identity over time. Each repeated action sends a signal to yourself about who you are. When you consistently act in alignment with your goals, you start to see yourself differently. You no longer think of yourself as someone who procrastinates, doubts, or avoids responsibility. You begin to identify as a person capable of discipline, growth, and resilience. This shift in identity is the true power of habits because it sustains transformation long after motivation fades. Rebuilding yourself is therefore not a matter of occasional effort. It is a matter of persistent, deliberate action. By choosing to cultivate positive habits, you create a framework for success, strengthen your character, and build momentum that carries you forward, even through challenges. Each small step compounds, each disciplined choice reinforces your progress, and over time, these habits transform not just what you do, but who you are. In essence, your future is the reflection of the habits you choose today, and by intentionally shaping them, you lay the foundation for a life of growth, resilience, and meaningful achievement. Persistence and resilience are the qualities that separate those who rebuild themselves successfully from those who give up at the first sign of difficulty. Life is unpredictable, and no journey of transformation is smooth. Challenges, setbacks, failures, and disappointments are not exceptions, they are inevitable. If you hope to rebuild yourself, you must embrace the reality that the path will be difficult, and you must be willing to endure and continue even when the journey tests every ounce of your patience and strength. Persistence is the ability to keep moving forward, regardless of the obstacles in your way. It is the refusal to let temporary setbacks define your long-term outcome. Many people possess talent, intelligence, or opportunity, but without persistence, these gifts remain underutilized. The difference between success and stagnation is often not how smart or lucky someone is, but how committed they are to continuing when things get tough. Resilience, on the other hand, is the capacity to recover, to bounce back after failure, disappointment, or adversity. It is the mental, emotional, and sometimes even physical strength to face difficulties without being crushed by them. While persistence keeps you moving forward, resilience ensures that when life pushes back, you do not break, you bend, adapt, and continue with renewed focus and determination. Rebuilding yourself demands both qualities because the process involves change, discomfort, and uncertainty. You will encounter moments when progress feels slow or non-existent, when your efforts seem to produce no results, or when external circumstances threaten to derail your plans. Without persistence, these moments become excuses to quit. Without resilience, these moments become sources of despair. Together, persistence and resilience allow you to turn obstacles into opportunities. They teach you to analyze failures, extract lessons, and apply them moving forward rather than allowing mistakes to define your trajectory. Every challenge becomes a stepping stone, every setback a classroom where you learn the strategies, insights, and approaches that will eventually lead to success. Persistence and resilience are also closely tied to mindset. Those who rebuild themselves understand that failure is not a permanent state but a temporary condition, a natural part of growth. They recognize that discomfort, criticism, and difficulty are signals that they are stretching beyond their current limits. This mindset allows them to persist through hardships with focus and composure. Resilient individuals do not dwell on what has gone wrong. They acknowledge it, learn from it, and redirect their energy toward the next step. They do not waste time on regret or self-pity, because they understand that action is the only path forward. Persistence requires discipline, patience, and a long-term perspective. Change does not happen overnight, and transformation is rarely linear. There will be plateaus where it feels like no progress is occurring. There will be days when motivation fades and doubt creeps in. The person who rebuilds themselves does not wait for motivation or inspiration. They rely on consistency, discipline, and the commitment to their vision to carry them forward. Resilience also demands self-awareness. You must know your limits, your triggers, and the ways you respond to stress. By understanding how you react under pressure, you can develop strategies to remain composed, maintain focus, and continue pursuing your goals even when external conditions are harsh. Rebuilding yourself without persistence and resilience is like trying to climb a mountain in a storm without proper gear. Eventually, the challenges will overwhelm you. These qualities are non-negotiable because life will test you, and only those who can endure and adapt will reach the summit of their potential. Another aspect of persistence and resilience is the ability to maintain faith in yourself and your vision, even when others doubt you. Often, the world will not support your efforts. You may encounter criticism, discouragement, or indifference. Those who succeed despite this maintain belief in their purpose, trusting that consistent effort, even in the face of resistance, will eventually yield results. Resilience also fosters creativity and problem solving because setbacks force you to adapt. When one path is blocked, a resilient mind searches for another route. When a plan fails, it is an opportunity to refine strategies and improve approach. This ability to adapt without giving up is a hallmark of individuals who rebuild themselves successfully. Ultimately, persistence and resilience are about commitment to yourself, your vision, and your future. They are the internal engines that drive you through uncertainty, hardship, and challenge. Without them, transformation stalls. With them, you develop a momentum that no external circumstance can stop. They are the proof that the person who is willing to endure, learn, and keep moving forward can overcome almost anything. To rebuild yourself, you must decide that giving up is not an option and that each obstacle is a chance to grow stronger, wiser, and more capable. In embracing persistence and resilience, you discover a power within yourself that no failure can diminish and no adversity can destroy, a power that becomes the foundation of lasting transformation and extraordinary achievement. As we come to the end of this journey together, remember, this rebuilding yourself is not about perfection, it's about progress. It's about taking ownership of your life, embracing discomfort, learning continuously, cultivating positive habits, and refusing to give up no matter how difficult the path becomes. Each step you take, no matter how small, compounds into a transformation that can change the course of your life. You have the power to redefine who you are, to rise stronger from setbacks, and to create a future that reflects your true potential. So take this moment to make a promise to yourself, a promise that you will not wait for circumstances to change, that you will take deliberate action, and that you will persist with resilience until you become the person you are meant to be. Your past is a lesson, not a limitation. Your future is a blank canvas, ready for the masterpiece you are capable of creating. I wish each of you courage, determination, and unwavering belief in your own power. Good luck on this journey of transformation. Thank you for allowing me to share this message with you. And remember, your strongest self is waiting for you to rebuild it.